In this video, we will talk about Tempdb contention, why it is caused, and how to troubleshoot. Tempdb contention occurs when multiple sessions compete for the same Tempdb internal database resources. Generally, you will see waits for PFS pages, GAM, SGAM pages, or system tables, which holds the metadata for Tempdb objects. You will see the wait type for the load. You will see that page latch update wait type will show up, or page latch exclusive block wait will show up. These waits are associated with latch waits within memory and not on the disk. Tempdb contention in SQL Server creates quite a bit performance degradation, and especially occurs with a heavy workload in Tempdb. Okay, let me start the demo. Okay, this is a PowerShell script that I will provide. This first function creates a Tempdb stress database. After creating the database, it creates a large table and few indexes, and it inserts a lot of data in it. Then it creates an update stats on top of it. This takes roughly about 2 minutes when we run this. Then I have a second function which basically allows me to run a query in multi-threaded way. I will demo you that. So the database is already created. It has a table and large table. That's what the name of the table is. We will generate the workload in this function, these two functions that we declared. The second function where the multi-threading happens, we're connecting to SQL Server and the database Tempdb stress database, and we're running a very simple query which takes data from our large table and insert into a template. We are running this particular workload in 11 iterations, but at one time only 5 connections can happen. Okay, let's run this workload. As this workload is running, let's go to SQL Server, run any version of SP-Who2 that you like or you have it handy. I like SP-Who is active. This gives a very clear picture. As soon as we run this, you will see wait types showing up against these 5 sessions. You will see a wait type, page latch wait type shows up with PFS page. And right now, the fourth file is the file that is being the culprit, where it's asking for saying, I need to write this and give me the pages which are empty. Okay, that's one way of checking it. Other is you can also look at further details with SP-Who is active. Second parameter is get task info, and that gives you quite a bit of information what this task is waiting for and how long it's been waiting for, that sort of detail. You can see the CS packet waits are also showing up in there, and this shows that you have the Tempdb pressure going on. Why this pressure is going on, we'll talk about it in a few minutes. There's another version of SP-Who2 that you can find on the internet, and this one is also going to be very quickly identify saying, okay, Tempdb contention is there and it's quite visible. So we can quickly identify. I have my own version of SP-Who2, which is basically SP sessions. This also allows me to quickly identify if there is any blocking and who's the lead blocker. You can see that it identifies this is the lead blocker. All these sessions are being blocked by this, and also can see the wait types and what's the wait contention looks like. Now, this SP session actually depends on a particular function which allows me quickly put a where clause to find out, okay, which particular sessions that I want to narrow down to. So in this particular case, I'm narrowing down to all of the 5 sessions that I started with PowerShell. And the good part is if I need to kill any sessions or anything, I can do that too. Not that I need it in this particular case. But in a real world scenario, there are scenarios where you have a culprit that we should like to just simply kill their sessions, and they have multiple sessions, and it takes time to kill it manually, identifying it manually, if you don't have a where clause. Okay. That said, you can always query DMVs directly too. There's no favorite there. Okay. So while this is going on, let's take a look if the sessions are still running. Are they already completed? You can see the sessions looks like already completed. Let's go to our PowerShell. Looks like it's completed. So the workload is no longer there for us to troubleshoot. I would like to demo another utility. It's a free SQL query stress utility that you can get from GitHub. I will put that link in my video. SQL query stress is a great utility that can allow you to generate multiple workloads, quickly troubleshoot them, run the queries in parallel mode. You can clear the cache. This utility is quite helpful if you'd like to do some performance tuning on a particular query to your test environment. All right, so let me just go back to the machine. We will run the same query that we ran before, this time using SQL query stress tool. We're going to run 15 iterations and 5 threads at a time. So let's run this. Let's see if the scenario still shows up. You will see this particular scenario again shows up with the same problem, and this time with similar weights. Why this is happening? Let's focus on this problem. Occurs anytime the Tempdb is not properly configured. So Microsoft recommendations on Tempdb configurations are pretty simple. They would like you to have 1 data file per CPU core and maximum of 8. Meaning if you have more than 8 CPUs, just keep it to 8. Otherwise, you need to make sure that you give equivalent size. So in our case, let's take a look. What do we have? In our case, we have Tempdb properties, and we have 6 data files. On our server, how many cores are there? We can see it has 6 processors. We can see it from Task Manager too. Now, if we increase these data files, make sure their initial size is same, auto grow turned on, that is recommended, then the chances of seeing these weights are less because you're balancing it out. But that doesn't mean it will not happen. There are other conditions that you should also consider, which are best practices with Tempdb. Tempdb should be sitting on a dedicated drive, a faster disk, and then you want Tempdb data file drive to be 64K block size format. Apart from this Tempdb configuration, you need to see, is the workload got increased quite a bit? If you have too many sessions open at the same time, you can still see some of these symptoms. but then you understand this is not normal. You have got a lot more workload and may require a better fine-tuned machine in configuration based on the new workload if it's going to be standard. You might have a scenario where you have version store usage that gone higher than normal. Let's take a look at that, how we can see this. So there is a query that you can utilize pretty quickly to identify if you have version store pages that gone above and beyond the normal usage. This you can always get from the DMVs. In this case, the DMV DB file space usage is good enough to identify it. If you have a third-party tools like SQL Sentry, Data, or any other tool, they can identify this type of scenario pretty quick. And then you can see, okay, who is using it, and is it normal to use it, or do we need to think, hey, is there more than normal connections, and talk to that application owner and see where that leads to. Now, that said, I would like to go back. There are other scenarios in which you will see this type of issues. SQL Server 2016 and higher, Microsoft start using Tempdb mixed page allocation off. By default, it's off. So you get every time an extent, a dedicated extent, which is an 8 continuous pages. That solves some of the contention issues. But this setting is per database available. So any particular database that says, no, I would like to still have mixed page allocations, that setting can be turned on. And in some scenarios, I have seen that was the case. And let's copy this query. Let's take a look whether we have any of those databases where this particular value is turned on. So you can see in Tempdb is turned off because this version is 2017 of SQL Server, and you can see it's turned off for all other databases. But if it, in your case it's turned on, you should consider turning it off. That is the new Microsoft recommendation since SQL Server 2016. This should allow you to do a basic troubleshooting with Tempdb Contention. I hope this was useful. Thank you.